aligned with each one of the 4 C's. So it's a 4x12 recipe here. The first one around clarity is desire. And we talked a little bit about this, but what do you want? Crystal clear about what do you want. How many of you used Google Maps or Waze or something to get here today? Okay. You open up the app, turn the app on, there's a little dot or an arrow or something and some streets, and you look at your app and you're like, okay, and then you start walking and the little arrow goes. It doesn't know where you want to go unless you give it a destination. You can't have a path unless you have a destination. So the first thing you need is, what do you desire? That desire will get you to your destination. The second are your thoughts. What are you thinking about? Whoever wanted to try out for a team in sports? Okay. Was it the only thing you thought about was making the football team or the baseball team or the whatever team it was? You wanted to start a business. It's the only thing you think about. You're like obsessed with it. You have to know your thoughts are going to feed your actions. We talked a little bit about the subconscious today. I'm going to talk about it in another minute. But everything you're thinking is either going to help you get to where you're going or get you off track. Keep your thoughts focused on where you want to go. The next is repetition. We heard this word a little bit earlier too. How many of you have written down goals, either for your business or yourselves? It's a pretty good number. I'm not surprised to see that. How many of you read them to yourselves every morning when you first wake up, before you go to bed, and maybe once or twice in the middle of the day? Good for you. I do. I have a goal statement. I read it every single day. I'm programming my subconscious brain to be thinking about and looking out for those things that are going to bring me the people and the ideas and the thoughts and the opportunities to help me move forward. The next is connection, and the first behavior, the first principle with this is learning. Now, I should have said a minute ago that you're all in this room and you're probably doing a lot of this stuff. So good for you. A lot of the population, this is all like new concepts for them. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a taste, because I could talk for an hour on every single one of the topics on here. But the first is learning. You need to have new teachers and new paradigms in your life all the time, because you want to keep a narrow focus on what you want to do, but you want the intelligence of the world to help you get there the best and fastest way you can. Follow the successful people. Investing. We're all here investing in ourselves. And I think Warren Buffett, the best investment you can make is the investment you make in yourself. You have more control over yourself than you have anything else, right? And we've talked a little bit, you've heard speakers talk about that a lot today. And the last one on this, principle number 6, is around listening. Now, listening is not hearing. Hearing is a capability. Listening is a skill. When is the last time that you felt really listened to? That you were talking with a friend over dinner, you're talking with your kids, phones are down, devices are off, no distractions, dogs are asleep, you're having a conversation. This is the number one thing that the people I coach, my coaching clients, thank me for. 1 hour, dedicated, confidential, non-judgmental, sit back and listen. What are you dealing with? What are you struggling with? What are your challenges? What's the opportunity that you've got 5 things in your mind that you want to do? How are we going to help you narrow that down? I don't know anybody who can do like 5 things at once. Maybe Dana. Okay. But listening is a really, really, really important skill, and it gets lost more today than ever. And I think half of the problems that we're having in the world is that people do not take the time to sit, to listen, to understand. On caring, serving, helping others get what they want will help you get what you want. With the one caveat that you need to go into that relationship or go into that service expecting nothing in return. You will get something in return, but don't expect it. The second one is around giving. Now, I don't mean giving like just volunteering your time or just, and it's not a just, because that's a huge way to give back. Or philanthropy, money. I'm talking about giving 1% extra of effort. Because you know what? When you do that, it gets noticed. You're all doing at least more than 1%, spending a Saturday in this room here with all of us. Most people don't. They walk around the planet saying, your job, if they do a job at all, is to do A, B, and C. I'm like, good, A, B, and C, I'm done, pay me, I'm leaving. You're going to want to do D, E, and F, and you're going to volunteer for it. Because when you do that, you stand out. You distinguish yourself, because most people don't. And the last is respect. I'm sure you've all heard this quote from Maya Angelou. People will not remember what you said, they will not remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. If you make people feel like crap, you demoralize them, you treat them poorly, you disrespect them, you devalue them, they don't matter. The universe heard that. You're spewing it out. It's going to come right back to you. Now, you might feel superior in the moment, but it's not going to last. But what if you send out positivity? What if you say to anyone, you're valued, you're respected, I understand you, you matter, your contribution is important. That's going to come back to you too. And the last around courage is the first is to accept. And when I say accept, I mean say yes when it matters most. Now you say, when it matters most. Yeah, because if you say yes to everything, then you're a mess. You're not going to get anything done. You need to stay focused. I think it was Stephen Covey who said the most important thing is that the most important thing remain the most important thing. And that goes back to clarity. You got to know what that is. The next is to assume. If you want to be a millionaire, you need to start hanging with millionaires. You need to start assuming the characteristics that millionaires have. If you want to be a CEO, what do CEOs do? Who do they hang with? How do they operate? How do they treat people? Hopefully you're following an admired CEO, a leader, right? Kids do this all the time. They take on a persona of a superhero or a singer or a dancer, and they're in that role for, I don't know, weeks and months sometimes. But we forget that it's really important for us to act as if and go as though we're in the job, the role, the place to be that we want to be. This has worked for me a couple of times in my career. As a manager, I was doing work as a director level, and that I got promoted to that role. The same to the vice president role. And then the last is affirmation, but not affirmation like we heard earlier today. But this is like affirming your position that you can, if you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. You need to bury the words I can't. We just heard Jim talk about that a minute ago. You've got to bury the words I can't. And if you need to create or have Claude or ChatGPT create a little tombstone for yourself that says, here lie the words I can't, rest in peace, and date it, do it. I did it, but I did it with literally a tombstone. It's a crazy story. And my mother took pictures of me at a cemetery, and she thought I was crazy. Okay, but that was in 1997. My life changed. My life changed when I did that. So now I bring all this together for you with a couple of questions as we make this happen. As we said earlier, if anything is going to change, it starts with you. Because this is all of the things I just told you about are in your control. Look at all the control I just gave you. You guys are so lucky. Okay, let me just get to those questions real quick. Back up. How clear about what you want to change and why? Who can you involve in that? How can you make sure that you're taking care of the others when you're making a change? If you think about a line of dominoes all the way across this room, lined up. Somebody ticks the first one. Boom, 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 boom. It has an impact, a ripple effect all the way down. Think about that as you're going through change. And then the last one, what happened to the last one? My clicker didn't work. What if the change doesn't work? So I heard a quote, it was a famous athlete, I don't remember who it was. The athlete said, I never lose. I either win or learn. Yep. So there's always something to learn as you go through change. But if it doesn't work, you've learned something. But what if it does? You've achieved what you want to achieve. So now my offer for you today is I'm new in this business. I do not have a program for you. But I am happy to have a conversation with any of you about anything that you're trying to do to help you be more prosperous in your life or in your career. I'm offering a 30 45-minute conversation with me. And when you book that, that's my Calendly link. When you book that, I have a free guide called Leading Change Without the Chaos. I changed the name a couple of times. Leading Change Without the Chaos, which I will give you. And I'll also give you the VIP links to be notified when my book comes out. I'm very excited about my book, Cementing Change. And I'm also in the Cracking the Rich Code book. I share that with Deepak, and I can give you a link to that as well. So I want to just remind you all that change is something, obviously, that happens to us all the time. It's constant. We know this, right? It's almost cliche. But there's a way to go through that where you can navigate it and have much more control and a much higher level of success and predictable success by applying this recipe over and over again. And like any other muscle, if you train your brain, this becomes natural. Very quick story. My husband and I bought a 1965 Thunderbird convertible a couple of years ago. And we both had discovered at one point, actually here in San Diego at a car show a number of years ago, that we both wanted to have a classic car. And I asked him, what kind of a car would you want to have? He goes, of course, he never answers the question. He always answers the question with a question. So he said, well, what would you want? I said, oh, I want a Thunderbird. He's like, oh God, me too. He said, what generation? I don't really know what that means. So he said, well, like what year? And I said, oh, I don't know, the late 70s with those big tail lights and stuff on them. And he's like, no. The fourth generation, is it? 63, 64, 65, right? Is that right? Okay. And I'm like, what does that look like? So he shows me a picture. I was like, okay, well, we'll go with that. And I wanted one in blue because I had a blue convertible and I had to give it up. It's a long story. But anyway, for months, he's searching for one in blue. He can't find one. All kinds of scams. If you ever want to buy a classic car, please talk to us. I know I'm out of time. But what was interesting about this was that we were clear about what we wanted. 1965 Thunderbird convertible in blue. We didn't know how to get one, so we engaged and involved other people who have classic cars and the Thunderbird Club to get it. Those people were not paid for their information and their services. Even mechanics that we were working with say, what should we look for? But we sent them thank you cards, and we took them out to dinner, and we sent them baskets of wine because we cared about what they did to help us. And then we had the courage to wire, excuse my expression, a shit ton of money to somebody we had never met in another state for a car we never saw. And we bought that vehicle. So you can use this change framework for anything you want. Thank you. Please scan the code. I'd love to talk with any of you. And thank you for your time. That.
Good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, here's what happens next.